Is a corporation named LexCorp planning to open Muslamic temples in Toys R Us locations? No, that's not true. The story was published by a liberal satire website that tries to educate gullible Trump supporters and Republicans about the need to actually click and read links before sharing or liking them in order to avoid being embarrassed by fans of the site later. All the events described in the article are not real, and several words that appear in the story are invented by the authors but clearly meant to resemble Islamic, Muslim, and mullah. The story originated from an article published by B Best website on December 21, 2018 titled "Corporation Wins Bid to Open Muslamic Temples in Toys R Us Locations," which opened. Quote, LexCorp, the massive corporate giant whose international holdings number in the trillions, easily won their bid to build and operate Muslamic temples inside all shuttered Toys R Us locations within the United States. LexCorp's legal partners Wolfram and Hart brokered the final provisions this morning and will begin refurbishing and consecrating the properties next week. CEO and one-time Fala of the League of Greater Muslimia Sami Hagur told the Wall Street Journal that he was excited for a new addition to globalism and harmony. End quote. Users on social media only saw this title, description and thumbnail, and many probably liked and shared it without thinking or clicking. Quote, corporation wins bid to open Muslamic temples in Toys R Us locations. LexCorp, the massive corporate giant whose international holdings number in the trillions, easily won their bid to build and operate Muslamic temples inside all shuttered Toys R Us locations. End quote. First of all, there is no word Muslamic. It has been invented by the owners of the site because it is easily confused with Muslim or Islamic. Second, the LexCorp company does not exist in real life. It is a fictional corporation run by villain Lex Luthor in the Superman comics. The Wolfram and Hart law firm is also fictional and appears in the TV series Angel. There is also no League of Greater Muslimia, and nobody knows what a Fala is except for the people who run the site because they invented the word. The name, Sami Hagur, seems to be a wordplay on the name of rock musician Sammy Hagar. The site that published the hoax comes with a clear satire disclaimer at the bottom of each article. Quote, satire _sati. Renowned use of humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule to expose and criticize people's stupidity or vices, particularly in the context of contemporary politics and other topical issues. If you disagree with the definition of satire or have decided it is synonymous with comedy, you should really just move along. End quote. The owner and main writer of the site is self-professed liberal troll Christopher Blair, a man from Maine who has made it his full-time job to troll gullible conservatives and Trump supporters into liking and sharing his articles. He runs several other websites, including patriotpost.us, dailyworldupdate.us and nofakenewsonline.us. Sometimes he is also known under his nickname, Busta Troll. A second man working on the sites is John Prager, as revealed in this earlier story we wrote. Articles from Blair's sites frequently get copied by real fake news sites who often omit the satire disclaimer and any other hints the stories are fake. Blair has tried to get these sites shut down in the past, but new ones keep cropping up and he keeps knocking them down. Blair and his operation were profiled by The Washington Post on November 17, 2018 by Eli Saslow. Quote, nothing on this page is real. How lies become truth in online America. November 17. The only light in the house came from the glow of 3 computer monitors, and Christopher Blair, 46, sat down at a keyboard and started to type. His wife had left for work and his children were on their way to school, but waiting online was his other community, an unreality where nothing was exactly as it seemed. End quote. If you are interested in learning more about Blair and the history of his sites, here is something to get you started. Quote, the ultimate Christopher Blair and America's last line of defense reading list, lead stories story updated, check for updates below. Yesterday Eli Saslow at The Washington Post wrote a fantastic article about Christopher Blair, a man from Maine who has been trolling conservatives and Trump supporters online for years and occasionally even made a living out of it. End quote. If you see one of his stories on a site that does not contain a satire disclaimer, assume it is fake news. If you do see the satire disclaimer, it is of course also fake news. NewsGuard, a company that uses trained journalists to rank the reliability of websites, describes Bebest